2025 is officially the year of the fraud check, dude. What's up, boys? We are back. Again, it's been a little bit since my last upload 8 days ago, but still, I'm trying to be more consistent. Let's talk about it. Cannonier defeating Gregory Rodriguez upset last night. Gregory Rodriguez looked insane for that first round, knocking down Cannonier twice. Cannonier looked lost. Cannonier looked like he was showing his age finally. And then all of a sudden, bro just got gassed. I have no idea how that happened. I've never seen anything like that, where someone just A to B, dude. Like, it was, A to Z. It was clear how the difference between him in the first round, him in the second round, was crazy. In the first round, he was walking him down, about to kill Cannonier, looking terrified like the Terminator. And then the second round, this guy looks like prime Patrick Starr. I have no idea how that could have happened. But what I do want to talk about today is why so many prospects are actually getting fraud checked. And I'm not here to talk about the fraud checks like supposedly Tatiana Suarez, supposedly Umar, because those aren't fraud checks. Those are just examples of fighters getting up to the title and losing. You can make arguments that if you look at the stats, every undefeated fighter in 2025 that's fought has lost their O, and that is a crazy stat. So let's talk about that. I'm here to talk about the Sharmagomedovs. I'm here to talk about the Gregory Rodriguez's. I'm here to talk about the Peyton Talbots, because I feel like these guys are just getting fast-tracked way too much. And I think it comes down to this. The UFC wants to make a star. The UFC needs to make a star. The UFC is desperate to make a star. When you look at the biggest stars in UFC, we'll say right now, Ilia Topuria made himself. Obviously, he worked his way up just through the rankings like anyone else did, knocking out Volkanovski, knocking out Max Holloway, the two greatest featherweights of all time, arguably. He made himself, and obviously he's a fun personality. He's a trash talker. But, that wasn't given to him. Nothing was given to him. You look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor worked his way up like any other UFC prospect, knocking out, arguably, the greatest featherweight of all time in Jose Aldo at the time in 13 seconds. And having that insane bout with Mayweather, he made himself a worldwide superstar. Arguably one of the biggest names in the world at one point. And even Alex Pereira right now, kinda. Alex Pereira was fast-tracked pretty quickly, only because he beat Izzy in kickboxing. But still, he proved himself, dude. He proved himself to arguably be in your top 15 of all time, knocking out Izzy, beating Jan Blachowicz, beating Yuri Prohaska, beating Jamal Hill, beating all these insane fighters in such a short time. He made himself. And you have to be able to make yourself. You can't get stuff handed to you in the UFC because you're not learning. You're not learning anything like that. And let's look at fighters who got fast tracked. You look at even Sean O'Malley, one of my favorite fighters. Sean O'Malley did get fast tracked. What was he, 11th? He was 11th, and he got I think Peter Yan at 2. And Sean O'Malley is honestly one of the only examples in recent UFC history where a fighter who has gotten fast track actually wins a belt. And it's just one of those things. Like, you look at other fighters. Benoit Saint Denis, arguably one of the hottest lightweight prospects in years we've seen. They give him Dustin Poirier for some reason, and he gets knocked out in 2 rounds. Obviously, the staph infection you can make an argument with, but then he got 10-8'd by Moicano. So, was it really a fraud check if Moicano's doing that to you? But still, BSD got fraud check. If you look at Iskram Aliskerov, a great fighter at middleweight, arguably one of the best unranked fighters in the world at one point, and we give him Whitaker. Why are we giving him Whitaker? Why are we giving him one of the greatest middleweights of all time? He gets KO'd. We need to stop fast-tracking these prospects, dude. Even you can make an example of Peyton Talbot. Renan Barcelos is maybe one of the best. I feel like I'm saying one of the best for everything here, but Renan Barcelos is one of the best unranked fighters in the UFC right now, and he's a grappler. It was all fun and games when you were giving Peyton Talbot these strikers who he was obviously better than. But then you go ahead and hand him a grappler, and Peyton Talbot looks like he forgot every single bit of everything he's ever learned in his career. Even his striking didn't look that good in that fight. We're just fast-tracking these guys way too quickly. It's time to stop fast-tracking these fighters. I am tired of it. If the UFC wants to make a star, they got to do it on their own. Bo Nickel hasn't been fast-tracked yet, but I'm scared for him because he could be next. Obviously we just seen Sharmagomedov get fraud-checked by MVP, one of the best hands-on strikers, most technical strikers of all time. What are we doing, UFC? He was destined to fail that matchup. And it's scary because, you know, when you're killing all these prospects, UFC, when arguably two of the best prospects in the UFC, Sharon Magomedov and Peyton Talbot, have lost this year, that's not good. That's not good. We're losing prospects like a wildfire out here, man. It's like a wildfire out here. But yeah, dude, I just wanted to talk about the UFC being so desperate to make a new star. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you boys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.